In today's class, before moving to the characteristics of a chemical reaction, we will see few examples of chemical reactions. The first example is of burning of magnesium. The reaction between potassium iodide and lead nitrate is yet another example. Unlike this, there are numerous examples that we come across in day-to-day life. Now let us discuss about the next topic of today's class, that is characteristics of chemical reactions. Following are the characteristics that help us to know whether the chemical change is taking place or not. The first one is change in color, second one is change in state, evolution of a gas, formation of a precipitate, and change in temperature. We will discuss each of the characteristics of a chemical reaction one by one with the help of a suitable example. The burning of a candle involves a change in state. First, the wax melts into liquid state, and then from the liquid state it changes into vapor state, and ultimately it burns with a flame. Now, another characteristics that indicates the chemical change is change in color. In the above example, you can see clearly copper turnings which have the reddish brown color, silver nitrate solution which is colorless. When copper turning is dipped into silver nitrate solution, then the colorless silver nitrate solution changes into blue color, cupric nitrate solution. The third characteristic of any chemical change is evolution of a gas. In the above example, whenever the marble chips is added to any dilute acid, marble chips means calcium carbonate, then carbon dioxide gas is evolved, which turns lime water milky, as you can see clearly in the figure. There are chemical changes that involves the change in temperature. The temperature as a result of a chemical change may decrease or it may increase. The former one is called as exothermic reaction and the latter one is called as endothermic reaction. The example of exothermic reaction is addition of quicklime to water. When we add quicklime to water, then the heat is evolved with a hissing sound. But when the same repeated by taking barium hydroxide solution in a test tube and adding ammonium chloride salt to it, after some time the wall of the test tube becomes cool, which can be felt by touching the wall of the test tube. The formation of a precipitate is yet another sign of any chemical change or chemical reaction. For example, when barium chloride is added to dilute sulfuric acid solution, then the white precipitate of barium sulfate is formed. Another example involves lead nitrate solution. When we take lead nitrate solution in a test tube and add potassium iodide to it, then the formation of a yellow precipitate takes place. This yellow precipitate is of lead iodide, which is formed as an insoluble product. Now, before we talk about chemical equation, it is necessary to know about molecular formula. Molecular formula is a shorthand notation of a compound, or we can say the molecule of a compound that shows the kinds of atoms present in it and the actual number of atoms of each kind of elements. There is yet another term which is called empirical formula. Empirical formula gives us the idea of the ratio of the atoms of each of the elements present in the molecule of any compound. For example, C2H6 is the molecular formula of ethane, in which carbon and hydrogen is present in 1:3 ratio. Therefore, its empirical formula is CH3. Now, next example is butane, in which 4 carbon atoms and 8 hydrogen atoms are present. Therefore, the ratio between carbon and hydrogen is 1:2. Therefore, its empirical formula becomes CH2. Third example is of glucose, in which carbon, hydrogen and oxygen elements are present. The number of atoms of carbon is 6, hydrogen is 12 and oxygen is 6, which is in 1:2:1, and therefore the empirical formula of glucose becomes CH2O. Let us come to the last topic of today's class, chemical equation. Now, chemical reaction can be represented in two ways: in the form of a word equation that involves the name of the reactants and the products, each separated by the plus sign, and the reactants and the product separated by the sign of arrow. When the same is repeated by writing the symbols and formula of the reactants involved and the products involved, then it is called as chemical equation. Now, in the next video, we will learn about types of chemical reactions and how to balance the chemical equations. So students, thanks for viewing this video. Very soon we will be meeting again in the next video. Once more, thanks.